My name is Margaret. I'm a 55-year-old office worker. I've been married to my husband, Harry, for 25 years, and we have a son named Samuel. Samuel graduated from college and is now working full-time, but he's still living at home and commuting to work from there. Harry and Samuel just don't get along at all. When Samuel was little, Harry suddenly had a pay cut. I thought something might have happened, but I couldn't ask about his salary because I didn't want to hurt his pride. So, I put Samuel in daycare, and when he started elementary school, I put him in after-school programs while I worked as hard as I could. I wanted Harry to help with raising our son, but whenever he did, he'd yell at Samuel, so I gave up on that. I couldn't stand to see little Samuel so scared. Sure enough, as Samuel grew older, he didn't trust Harry, and their relationship turned awful. However, Samuel cares about me a lot, like he always gives me a Mother's Day present. He's a very good son. By the time Samuel went to college, I had earned a promotion at work, so I could afford his tuition without needing any loans. I felt like people around us probably thought I was a single mother because Harry didn't help with raising Samuel at all, and we lived our lives without relying on him. That didn't change even as Samuel grew older. Samuel and I would go out together, but Harry never joined us. It's been over 20 years since Harry's pay cut, but his salary hasn't increased, and he hasn't been contributing financially to the household lately. On top of that, when Samuel was in high school, Harry started staying out more often than not. He said he had more business trips, but he didn't have a high position or a sales job, so I couldn't understand why he'd need to travel for work. There were so many questions I wanted to ask, but I didn't want to get yelled at by Harry, so I kept quiet. One day, Samuel was cooking for us at home. It's Mother's Day, so I'm making a homemade meal for you. My girlfriend taught me how to cook. Monica, right? She's such a nice girl. Yeah, Monica said she wants to go on a trip with us next time. Really? Can I come too? You think she won't mind having her boyfriend's mom tag along? We're not married yet, so it's not really like that. Monica even said she wanted to go with just two of you. She's so sweet. Maybe I'll go on a trip with her alone. I'll come too. Actually, I want to go with Monica myself. Well, I guess that makes sense. We were having a nice chat when Harry came home. It was rare for him to come home so early, and Samuel had only prepared dinner for the two of us, so he seemed a bit flustered. But then Harry suddenly started talking, and Samuel's expression froze, while I was just stunned. I'm going on a business trip for a month starting today. Really? I'll be in a place with no signal, so you won't be able to reach me by phone or message. Don't try to contact me. Got it. You're going on a business trip for a whole month without any way to contact you? Yeah, but what of it? Got a problem with that? Yeah, I do. It doesn't make sense. How are you supposed to communicate with a company? And what kind of business trip is this? Are you tunneling through a mountain and living there? You're in an office job, aren't you? Shut up. I've got my own things to deal with. All right. Do whatever you want. Harry seemed a bit surprised by Samuel's confrontation but continued his preparations and left. However, he was humming and seemed to be in a great mood while getting ready. After Harry left, Samuel turned to me and said, "Doesn't he seem strange to you?" Yeah, maybe he's acting a bit odd, but does it really matter? It's because you let him do whatever he wants that he's so free to act like this. Well, maybe you're right. It is a bit strange. Hey, isn't there a Mr. Brown at Dad's company? Why don't you call him tomorrow and find out? I don't think it's necessary to go that far. No. You absolutely should. Well, if you insist that much. So the next day, I contacted Mr. Brown, who I knew from Harry's company. Sorry to call out of the blue. It's a surprise, but what's up? It's about Harry. Is he at the office? Yes, he is. Just as I thought. Yesterday, he said he was going on a month-long business trip, but Samuel thought it was strange and told me to ask you. Samuel's grown up a lot. I ran into him at the station recently, and he was in a suit. I was so surprised. Yeah, he's working full-time now. He's at that age, huh? But that's not the point. Harry comes home on time every day. His boss even says he wishes Harry would be more dedicated to his work. Really? Everyone at our company knows you've been promoted a lot, and we all hoped it would motivate Harry. That's unlikely. But he's not on a business trip and comes home on time. Is everything okay? If you need help, just let me know. Thanks. We're okay for now. I ended the call, feeling more exasperated than shocked. Harry wasn't even working properly, lying about a business trip, and who knows where he was going. Just then, Samuel came home. Before I could tell him about my conversation with Mr. Brown, he was already angry. When I asked him why, he hesitated. I don't want to hurt you, Mom. It's all right. I need to know. Besides, I have a pretty good idea of what you're going to say. I talked to Mr. Brown, and I get it. Did Mr. Brown tell you anything? Yes, he did. So, you know Dad isn't on a business trip. Yes, I know. So, what's going on? The truth is, I saw Dad walking hand in hand with a young woman. It was clear from the way they were acting that he was definitely cheating. She didn't look like a hostess or anything, so I'm sure the reason he's not coming home is because of that woman. Well, maybe you're right. That old man. He doesn't understand how much you've struggled to raise me. I'm more exasperated than angry. I'm just glad I was the one who raised you. Who knows what kind of man you'd be if you grew up with him. You probably wouldn't have met a wonderful woman like Monica. You're making it sound like you're the strange one, Mom. It's all Dad's fault. You're truly a wonderful son. Now, what should I do about that man? It's unacceptable for him to be fooling around with a young woman when he has a child. And to be seen by his own child, that's just too much. I decided to gather solid evidence and confront my husband with divorce papers. That night, when I went into Harry's room to look for any evidence, I found a duffel bag he often used for a few days' trips. Peeking out of it was a piece of paper, and when I pulled it out, it was a signed divorce form. Harry had already filled out his section. This was the first time I felt truly shaken. Along with the divorce papers, there was a family photo with what appeared to be his mistress and a hidden child. I hurried to show the divorce papers and the photo to Samuel. This is her. She's the one Dad was holding hands with today. So, it's decided then. This is the woman he's cheating with. All right, Samuel, let's move out. What? I don't want to live with him anymore. Look, he has a child with her. Harry is building a new family with this woman. We should leave for the sake of that child. But it feels like we're giving up. No, it's not that simple. We're not just leaving. What are you going to do? I explained the plan to Samuel, and he grinned. We quickly found an apartment and completed the move within a month. A month later, when Harry came home, he was shocked to find the house completely empty and called me.
Hey! What happened to the house?
Oh, you're back?
I said I'd be gone for a month. There's no one here, and the car's gone.
The locks haven't been changed yet. The real estate company really dropped the ball. Why are you so calm? What happened to the house? You have another home to go back to, don't you? Since you're cheating. What? Cheating. Don't pretend you don't know. It's too late for that.
I'm not cheating. I've been working hard. Why would you say such a thing?
You know exactly why. You even filled out the divorce papers. That's not what it looks like. Whatever. You didn't go on a business trip either. I called your company, and they told me everything. Why would you contact my company? Because your job doesn't require any business trips. It made sense to check.
Enough. Just come back home. I'll be out of here.
He left, spouting some nonsense. But I knew exactly where he was going. I knew he would go there, so Samuel came with me, and we waited near the mistress's house. Sure enough, Harry showed up. I rang the doorbell and barged in about 10 minutes after Harry had entered. Harry seemed quite surprised, but his mistress and her child were even more shocked. The child looked to be about 3 years old. Samuel took the child to another room to play, and the mistress turned to Harry as she grasped the situation.
Hey! I thought you were divorced.
No, it's not like that, Emma. This is. So, your name is Emma. I'm Harry's wife, Margaret. I was told you were divorced. I see. Well, that's the kind of person he is. I believe you. No, it's not like that, Margaret. Actually, this woman claimed I got her pregnant, and she kept harassing me, like a stalker. Really? And you just happened to have a photo with your stalker in your bag? And you filled out a divorce form intending to divorce me? That was something she made me fill out when the child was born. I never intended to divorce you, so I kept it hidden. I don't plan to marry her either. This is too ridiculous for words. I was exasperated, and so was Emma. Oh, I should have mentioned that we're already divorced, so when I introduced myself as Margaret, Harry's wife, I should have said ex-wife. What? When did you do that? I submitted the form for you since your section was already filled out. You should be thanking me.
Don't be ridiculous.
You're the ridiculous one. And by the way, this isn't the first time, is it? What are you talking about? When I called your company, I talked to Mr. Brown. Afterward, I met with him and Samuel to get more details. I thought it would be better if Samuel didn't know too much about your awful behavior, but Samuel said he had never seen any good in you, so I decided it was fine. We found out something incredible. Remember when your salary suddenly dropped when Samuel was little? What was that about? That was. You were having an affair at the company and had to pay compensation, right? To avoid the family finding out, they deducted it from your salary. And it wasn't just once, but twice. That's why you couldn't get promoted. Mr. Brown is a manager, but you're still a regular employee. You've been coming home on time every day, returning to Emma's place. Are you participating in childcare now? That's enviable since you didn't participate at all when Samuel was little. Coming home on time? Emma repeated, looking surprised. Yes. According to Harry's coworkers, he leaves work on time every day. I didn't know that. He said he was on business trips and often came home around 9 p.m. He never told me his salary and only gave me $600 a month. I've been working since my child was born, paying the rent myself. I see. Unbelievable.
And was the reason he wanted to move into my place because of that?
What? We thought we had submitted the marriage registration. He said he would become my husband and submitted the form on his own. So, that means? It wasn't submitted? That is.
Unbelievable.
This is truly insane. What were you thinking? Aren't you ashamed? And you're not participating in childcare. You yell at our newborn, and he's scared of you. By the way, where did you two meet? I work in sales and used to visit his company. Harry always dealt with me. At first, he wasn't a romantic interest because of our age difference, but he started giving me gifts, small things like sweets and cute hairpins. Then it escalated to branded necklaces. He asked me out to dinner multiple times, and I finally agreed. It was very romantic, and I said yes. He took me to places I wanted to go, and despite his age, he kept up with me physically. When I got pregnant, he said he had a wife who refused to divorce him and used their child as leverage. He said she relied on his money, and he was at a loss. I suggested he leave the divorce papers and move out. Harry told me the divorce went through and he didn't have to pay alimony or child support. I believed him and thought we were married. But it turns out I was the mistress. What a waste of time. A man who can't even take care of his son is truly trash. Exactly. I've been frustrated with him not participating in childcare since Samuel was little. To be honest, it was your situation that pushed me to take action. Samuel and I have always considered ourselves a family of two, without needing Harry. I thought he might be involved in childcare this time, but he wasn't. I probably look like a single mother with a boyfriend to the neighbors, raising a child alone while an older man supports me. They might even think I'm doing some sort of sugar daddy thing. But I believed in our marriage and loved him. To find out I was the mistress all along. Well, if you didn't know, there's nothing you can do about it now. Anyway, Harry and I are divorced, so I don't know what's gonna happen to you too, but good luck. I'm going to sue him for fraud. He started demanding living expenses and things he wanted as soon as we supposedly got married. He wasted my time. I'll also pay you compensation. I'm sure he has cheated on many women, and they all suffered in silence. I'll take full responsibility. Don't worry about it. I shouldn't say this, but I have enough money to buy a house outright. So, it's not about the money for me. I'm just interested in seeing how far this jerk falls. Raising a boy is expensive, you know. With that, Emma started to cry. I felt sorry for her, realizing she was also a victim. Meanwhile, Harry was nervously glancing between us. So, which one of you is gonna take me back? Not me. Me neither. Harry then went over to Samuel and the little boy, his hidden child. Both of you, I'm your dad. Don't you both love me? Who's coming with me? He started saying nonsensical things. Of course, neither of them would go with him. The hidden child seemed terrified of Harry, clinging to Emma and burying his face in her. It reminded me of when Samuel was little, and it broke my heart. That boy was so young. He couldn't manage without his mother. Then, Harry raised his hand toward the children. But Samuel, now bigger and stronger than Harry, subdued him easily. Harry looked utterly pathetic. Hey, cut it out. What do you think women are? Shut up. What do you know, you mama's boy? Call me whatever you want. Mom means everything to me because you're such a jerk. I knew about your affair with this woman, but I also know there were others. What? When Mom found the photo, she thought the woman holding hands with you was this one, so she lied. But it wasn't. You've been cheating with many women. You only stayed longer at places where there were kids. You weren't coming home because you were with other women. And your salary is so low, you're in debt. I've been in touch with Mr. Brown, and we found out about all your debts and affairs. I can't believe this. What have you done to our son? Samuel, I'm really sorry. It's not Mom's fault. It's you who should be ashamed.
Shut up. If Margaret had paid more attention to me, I wouldn't have needed other women. And Emma, you only cared about the kid once he was born. I wish they never existed.
That comment pushed me over the edge. And I slapped him. Do you even realize there are things you shouldn't say? But it's true. Samuel never warmed up to me, and neither does this one. If they had, things would have been different. That's the kind of person you are. People don't change because of someone else. You're just a jerk who can't value his wife or kids. Do you even know which university Samuel went to? Which company he works for? You know nothing. He never tells me. That's because you never ask. You're over 50 and still blaming others? That's why you never got promoted. Samuel works for a world-renowned company. He earns more than you and is already a team leader. He's only been working there for 2 years, but they've recognized his efforts and supported young talents, so he's already a team leader. He's nothing like you. That can't be true. How is he earning more than me? I know how much she has struggled. That's why I'm working hard for her. I want her to enjoy her retirement. Mama's boy. There's nothing wrong with that. As Samuel said this, Emma started talking. I'm glad I realized sooner. If I'd raised my child with this jerk, he wouldn't have turned out to be a wonderful person like your son. You must be an amazing woman. Your son is strong and cherishes you. He looks like Harry on outside but is nothing like him inside. It's wonderful.
Thank you. Now that you're away from this jerk, your child will grow up to be a wonderful person too.
Then Samuel said, since earlier I've been reading a book to the little one and asked, which one do you like? He kept saying mommy, for everything. He really loves you. Emma started crying. But Harry just didn't get it.
Another mama's boy. This is disgusting. If you two don't want me, I'll find another woman. I don't need either of you. Margaret, you filed for divorce, right? And Emma, we weren't even married, so it's easy for me. Nothing's gonna change for me.
That's right. Samuel and I have been fine on our own. So, rest assured, you're just going to get fired from your job. What? Fired from my job? Yes. Not only for your infidelity, but also for misusing company funds. Mr. Brown found out because he can't stand traitors, and he told your boss. That guy, always meddling. Well, a manager has more trust than a regular employee. You're over 50 and getting fired. Do you think any woman will want you now? This can't be. Harry collapsed to the floor. Emma kicked him out, and Samuel and I drove home together. Harry contacted me repeatedly after that. I'm sorry. I realize how important you and Samuel are to me now. He was also contacting Emma with the same messages. Emma and I had exchanged numbers and kept in touch, so I knew what Harry was up to. It was pathetic. One day, Harry was waiting outside my office, and I was quite surprised. Security quickly escorted him away. Seeing him after a long time, he looked thin, disheveled, and with graying hair, like a homeless person. It was shocking how much he had changed. I felt a bit of pity for Harry for the first time. But Harry didn't give up easily. One day, as I was leaving the office, he grabbed my bag. It was Harry.
I got fired because of you, and now I'm working at a grocery store.
You got fired because of your own actions, and you should be grateful to even have that job.
Don't be ridiculous. My parents disowned me, and all the women left me. I'm living alone because of you.
Isn't it great? Now you can enjoy your life of womanizing.
Enjoy? I'm living in a $300 a month apartment.
If you can pay $300, that's fine. You never knew how much rent cost because you lived in places Emma and I paid for. It's good life experience for you. Congratulations. Don't mock me. How dare you? Feel free to act out, but you'll just get arrested. If you want to hit rock bottom, go ahead. What will you do? Want to try hitting me?
Don't mock me.
Harry lunged at me. But from the outside, it looked like a man attacking a woman. People around us stepped in to protect me, and Harry was restrained before he could touch me. He was then taken to the police. After that, he lost his job at the convenience store too. Unable to pay even $300 in rent, he had to beg his parents to let him live with them. Since he couldn't come near me, he started bothering Emma, but she wasn't so naive. She ignored him completely. Harry, now isolated, fell into despair and started going to the hospital, but since his parents were elderly, they had to keep working day and night. I guess it can't be helped. A few years later, Samuel had some wonderful news.
Mom, I've decided to get married. To Monica? Of course. I'm going to be happy with Monica. That's great.
And there's one thing I want to ask you, Mom. How about living with us? No way. Monica would feel uncomfortable. But it was Monica's idea. She wants to live with you. Really? Are you sure that's okay? I also thought it might not be a good idea if you and Monica don't get along, but she said, then you don't have to live with us. Is that so? I feel a bit bad, but if that's the case, then I'll live with you. I'll pitch in for the new house so we can build a nice one.
Thanks a lot.
A few months later, Samuel's wedding is coming up. Samuel, who was once so small, is getting married. He's going to build his own family. Thinking about that makes me feel deeply moved. I want Samuel to be happy. I wish that from the bottom of my heart.